All right, so we're gonna look at a replay of a miner, a queen walk against Gazi here. I haven't had a whole lot of success with this attack yet today, but this was kind of the closest that I got against a sort of a max Town Hall 10, but I didn't have to deal with a clan castle, which really kind of might have made this very difficult. So the idea here with the queen walk is to create a funnel along one side, and then I'm going to use the barbarian king and some bowlers on the other side of the map to help with the other side of the funnel. And the idea is to create a smaller area for the miners to go into so that they pass straight into the base and don't have to deal with a lot of exterior buildings where they can get distracted away from the defenses. So the queen here stays away from a lot of defenses and stays alive actually kind of the whole raid, which is really nice and might actually be the way to go. So there I go with the miners spreading out on that smaller section there so that they're going to go straight into this base. This works out very well. They even go into that Inferno Tower, which is kind of in that box by itself, which is really kind of a pain. Now, these ground skeletons I have discovered are super annoying for miners. They just get all kinds of distracted by them, and then the defenses just really kind of take them out. So I've saved these poisons for the ground skeletons and the barbarian king and the enemy queen, so that they really get kind of slowed down, and the skeletons don't really don't mess up these miners too much. So I've also brought a freeze, and it ends up working quite well here. It freezes that Inferno long enough for these miners to essentially go up and take it out at near full health. And at this point, they're just going around. They've split up. There's still a bunch of them left. Bear in mind that I think I cooked like 32 of these miners, and I have 7 in my clan castle, which is just a shit ton of miners. But as you'll see here in the end, I ended up with quite a few miners left, but I needed more for cleanup. You see this spell factory off here to the side? Well, this spell factory is going to give me a headache at the very end. I ended up running out of time right at the last few seconds. I think 5 more seconds and I would have had this raid. But anyway, you see that there's still a gang of miners rolling around. The queen is still alive. So this attack worked fairly well against this fairly spread out base. But I think in the future it's a good idea to bring some supporting troops for cleanup. Just a handful of archers, maybe a wizard, maybe a pair of minions, whatever you want to bring for cleanup. Just to help with those last few buildings if you are successful in your raid. There's nothing worse than being successful with the main part of your raid and then running out of time on cleanup. So that's what I'm going to try to do in the future is maybe take, in this case I probably didn't have to take 6 wall breakers, because as you see here in the raid, all I used them for was to break into this one little wall here off to the side, and I didn't need all 6 of them for that. But as this is of course a FC, I just have kind of a generic army. I'm trying to figure this out. So there's the 6 wall breakers. I really didn't need all 6. I could have reduced that to maybe 4. 4 wall breakers is a good amount to bring if I think all you're trying to do is break through one little wall. So that's what I'm going to try in the future. Take fewer wall breakers, take a handful of troops for cleanup. I still am using a super heavy miner army. I mean, there's a ton of miners in this. So and that's kind of not what I've seen in some of the videos, but so far it's the only thing that's worked for me. I tried bringing, I tried some attacks where let's see if I can find them, where I tried to bring some baby drags, and some giants and some archers to try to get a bit of a different feel for how to make a funnel. and it looks like this was not one of those attacks. So let me go back and try to see if I can find another one of those where I brought a more diverse army. See if this is one here. So you'll see in this that I have a bunch of other troops in here. This is kind of what I saw in a video online, but you know, I mean, using the queen walk, still using a baby drag to try to, you know, help clear out some of these exterior buildings, try to make a bit of a funnel. I also have that barbarian king up at the top, trying to, you know, take out that other side of the base to try to get this funnel over here on this 9 o'clock side, so that the miners will go into the base. But it didn't end up working out too well. I felt like I didn't have enough miners. I have too many troops that I don't know what to do with. You know, these that giant and those archers and these two baby dragons. You know, the baby dragons are nice, but they provide very limited utility in the beginning of a raid, and you know, maybe they'd be good on cleanup, but they take up 10 spell slots, or take up 10 army slots, and I wasn't feeling it for these minor attacks. You know, maybe it's base dependent. Maybe they're useful if you can use them without them, you know, without them dying. But in this case, I just felt like it wasn't doing any good. So my troops here they all ran right into that middle part. I don't know what they were doing. They just sat there in that middle part, not doing a whole lot for a while, and I just felt like they all just died, and I ran out of spells. I have half of the base is still left. I used 2 heals, a rage, and a freeze all in that one area. It just didn't work out. So all of these miners, there's a bunch of them now, but I don't have enough heals. They run into these infernos, those giant bombs, and they just melt. So somehow something, you know, on this base, maybe this base is more compact. Maybe there's just more defenses next to each other, and so I couldn't keep the miners healed up. You know, the heal spells just weren't placed right. I don't know. It just didn't work out. So anyway, that's all I'm going to, you know, talk about for now, while I try to learn these miners, see if there's something that I can, you know, come up with in the next day or two to try to get, you know, some of these attacks into 3-star attacks. But so far, most of them are just 2-star attacks, you know, and that one lucky one that I got that was 99. So we'll see how this goes. See ya.